What's up, everybody on YouTube? Welcome back. Thank you for joining. We're live on Twitch, 2.5 hours now. We got Kyle Thomas hanging out in the chat. We're talking about Commander and Modern. He said playing land destruction and milling in Modern. That sounds pretty good. That sounds to be the way to go, I think. You know, because if somebody's playing expensive $1,700 decks, you know, you can go in there with like land destruction and mill. And I think you got a decent chance at doing something. Do you do like tournaments or like how do they do the? I miss Pauper. You know what I miss? I miss standard Pauper. I really do. When it literally used to be on MTGO, and I'll continue to talk about it until they bring it back, dude. Like. Oh, I kind of didn't mean to do that. I kind of wanted to put that island side. I didn't mean to do that. Sometimes tourney 1-for-1. Sometimes free for all. Okay, that's cool. Some 3-man. We got it. I think we'll drop this for the absorb. But I'm going to go reprieve before absorb. Let's get this reprieve on him again. Just trying to frustrate the opponent a little bit. They're going for it again, and then we're going to counter. So I don't know what they've got next turn. We're going to drop this to Fairy here. All we have now really is Fragment Reality, but opponent doesn't seem to be doing too much. So I think we're cool. Sometimes tourneys, sometimes teams. Oh, that sounds cool. I'm gonna have to Fragment Reality this, because this guy gets crazy. Felidar Sovereign. Let's see what we draw into here. So I think I might. I don't know. We'll drop Dream Trawler. I think the most we're gonna get here is like a cycle. But I would preferably like to cycle on my turn. Cats you control get +2. Wow, so 4/4, huh? Lean in Vanguard, another cat here. You got mail. Let's see if they swing in. What's your win con with this deck? That's a good question. That's a good question. I think frustration. Let me think about that for a second. Definitely. So we got Teferi Ultimates. Hang on. Let me think my way through this here. Let me try to use my brain, which can be difficult sometimes. So I'm trying to draw into Divine. So actually, yeah, in terms of win cons, Divine Purge is a big win con for me. And then they quit out. And also opponents quitting. That's a win con. No, but I'll walk you through it in all seriousness. So the win cons here, there's a few. There's a few. But, you know, as it is a control deck, we're trying to drag the game out for as long as possible. So, win cons here, I'll just whatever comes to mind here. Teferi Ultimates, you know, -8, exile their stuff. Smacking in with Dream Trawler, a little bit near. This is late game, very late game. Shark Typhoon, 1 copy. So like Shark Typhoon down. And then you start casting spell. You know, Archmage's Charm, get a token. Counter spell, get a token. Like that. And then so we swing in with that. Early game, I lean really heavy onto Divine Purge. because as a control deck, my biggest threats are aggro decks. So elves, goblins, and the cats, like the mono white stuff, and even for artifacts. And then, so you cast Divine Purge, then you can Snapcaster it back. Snapcaster becomes more expensive, so you get to use it again. Another win con, like Wandering Emperor, you can make tokens with it, beef stuff up. But yeah, basically the win con, I think, is almost to wear out the opponent. Exhaust them of all resources, even to the point of driving them insane. Like if I can, like I remember when people talk about poker, they say that you're playing the opponents, you're not playing the cards. And maybe, I don't know how well that matches up with Magic cards or not, but if you're trying to cast a spell like in that last game, and if your opponent reprieves you 3 times, that's going to mess with your head a little bit. maybe depending on the person. And so there's that. As you can see, opponent quit out. They, if they stuck it out, maybe they could have won. But so there's that. There's synergy, which I think is important for any good deck. Even red decks have a lot of synergy. So like Divine Purge. Sorry, the music's a little loud. But Divine Purge, when they recast the cards, they come into play tapped. So then I flash in Wandering Emperor, exile target tapped creature, gain 2 life. So there's that synergy there. Dream Trawler, draw a card. It gets +1, so Teferi draws a card. Archmage's Charm draws a card. So it's there's some synergy. And also Hall of Storm Giants too. Like when all else fails, you got a big old creature land that can just go boom. And it's a target because everybody's running Field of Ruin because everybody's running creature lands. So, and I think it's important to have multiple different avenues, but trying to keep the board clear, especially in the early games, and there's some weaknesses. Like Planeswalkers are even Farewell here doesn't hit Planeswalkers. Best thing I could do is like Teferi tuck it, hope Teferi stays alive, and then counter the Planeswalker when they try to cast it again later, if that makes sense. I do need to hit the restroom real quick, so let's end this YouTube video. Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube. I've been Bowie Brad. Please hit subscribe, and remember, Jesus loves you. We'll see you next time.